So this morning here in Jacksonville, St. Johns County, St. Augustine, Florida, Aiden Fucci was set to begin jury selection in the first-degree homicide case where he allegedly murdered a 13-year-old girl, Trystin Bailey. This is a pretty high-profile case here in Jacksonville as well as nationally. Aiden Fucci was accused of this crime when he was 14. It is obviously very shocking to many people. He was supposed to begin jury selection this morning. And news just came out that Aiden Fucci actually pled guilty to one count of first-degree murder in the death of Trystin Bailey. I believe Aiden Fucci now is 15 years old. He was charged as an adult in the first-degree homicide case. So what this means moving forward, it's typically here in Florida, a first-degree homicide case is either a life felony, mandatory life felony, or punishable by death. Because Aiden Fucci was 14 years old, he was charged as an adult. He cannot be sentenced to death. He cannot be sentenced to a life sentence. This was a very famous Supreme Court case years back that said that juveniles, when tried as an adult or convicted as an adult, cannot be sentenced to death, cannot be sentenced to a life sentence. So really what Aiden Fucci is looking at now is at least a mandatory 25 years imprisonment. At that point, he would come back on review to the judge who sentenced him, or at that point, the judge who's on the bench. Because juveniles must be given a meaningful opportunity for rehabilitation. There's case law, there's scientific research to indicate that a juvenile's brain is not really fully developed until they're 25 years old. An individual's brain is not really fully developed until 25 years old. And this case that went all the way to the Supreme Court agreed with that and said that any juvenile who's charged as an adult, who's convicted as an adult, and is sentenced to an adult sanctions cannot be sentenced to life in prison and must be given a meaningful opportunity for rehabilitation. Now, obviously, this is the very, very early stages of this case. It's 10 o'clock here in Jacksonville. Jury selection was set to begin probably 9:30 this morning, and news just came out that Aiden Fucci actually did in fact plead guilty to this charge. So it does give a sense of finality to this case, because there was some anticipation as to what the defense may be moving forward for Aiden Fucci. But at least now there is some sense of finalization, knowing that he has pled guilty. And the next steps is the sentencing hearing, where Trystin Bailey's family will be able to address Aiden Fucci. Her friends, her family will be able to address him. And it's sure to be a emotional event. At that sentencing hearing also, Aiden Fucci will have the opportunity to address Trystin Bailey's family, which is something that I believe will be pretty interesting to follow. So I'll be following along, giving updates along the way, but this is just the first bit of news to come out, which is pretty interesting.